everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm Tara with Pieces of Tara Artistry. Thank you for joining me today. I have with me my boys. This is Baxter over here on the couch, and you might hear him growl because he's growling at stuff outside. And this is my Finley boy. These are both of my little pups. So I wanted to, number one, introduce myself to you guys today, and then also let you know that I am going to be a part of a cool collab train every other Friday. Right now it's at 4 Eastern Standard Time, but that could change and our frequency could change. We're just trying to play with some days and times right now, but for now this is what we've got. It is pouring from coast to coast, which is kind of exciting because we have Garrick Brown, who is on the East Coast. We have myself, who's on the coast of Lake Michigan. I don't know. We have Britt Clayton, who's down in Texas, in Houston. And then we have Maida Pours Fluid Art and Chris Jessic, who are on the West Coast in California. So yeah, stay tuned with us, guys. Before me was Garrick Brown Art Studio, and after me will be Britt Clayton Design, so head over to her channel, and I am going to get painting now.
Okay, so here we go today. I'm going to be doing a 20 by 20, attempting a pearl pour with black pearls. So you see I am prepping my edges, especially you want to do this with a dark base because you are going to get show through otherwise. That's my base coats recipe, and you'll see that this, if you see in my paint, like there are tons of chunks in this paint for some reason. Like literally I just mixed it, so I don't know if my satin enamel had chunks in it that I just wasn't seeing when I was adding it to my mix or what. So I scraped all that off. I took my mix that I had and I strained it so that I didn't have those big chunks in it. And it could be that the reason why this one did not work out as I anticipated, which you'll see in a little bit, is because maybe there wasn't enough satin enamel because they were chunks or something that was that it just didn't have enough to make this pearl pour work well, or it could be the way that I ended up layering my paints, my pour over colors. So I have been using Modern Masters a lot lately in my pour overs because they pearl really well and I love the metallic look of them. So here I'm putting in, it's a pale gold and flash gold mix from Modern Masters, and then I put the Sapphire by Modern Masters over top because I did another pearl painting, which I'll show you here, that worked out really well. It's the same exact recipes, exact recipe on the paints, but I think the way that this one was layered, it was maybe the sapphire on top of the gold just didn't allow those pearls to pop through. So you'll see I do get some like tiny pearls, but I actually really liked the way that it worked, it looked, and it was working. So I decided that I would just kind of improvise from there. So you'll get to see that in the end, and then yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that because, you know, even if like one paint works fine, it might work in one pearl pour, but maybe it's just the layering that you do in another pour, or you know, maybe two Modern Masters paints, one right on top of the other, don't pearl well, whereas just one on its own pearls just fine. So you have to do kind of a lot of experimenting with these pearl pours to see what paints are going to allow the pearls to pop through nicely. So I'm kind of picky about my pearls. I don't like them to be wonky. I like them to be nice and crisp, and I like them to be more circular, puffy. So I I'm very picky about my recipes. I measure every single one of my pearl recipes, because if I don't, I get results that I'm not happy with. So I don't have a tendency to measure my other paints anymore. I can kind of eyeball that, but on my pearl mixtures, which is the base coat that you're using, I am almost always will do that recipe like exactly the way I have it written. Now, an exception to that would be like all these drips that are on my table. I will reuse them. I'll scrape them into a cup, so don't worry, they are not going to be wasted. And I will save them for another pearl pour. I just will stir them up, strain them, and then I will add a bit more satin enamels to the mix. Usually like maybe an ounce or two, depending on what the mix is looking like. To this mix, I probably would add like 2 ounces of satin enamel to this, and that's the bare satin enamel that I'm using in this one. If I'm using the Deco Art satin enamel, like in black or in a color, I will cut that down to like a half an ounce to 1 ounce, because it's just more reactive than the bare satin enamel. Okay, so here I'm going to show you the time lapse of me allowing these pearls to pop up, and I let these guys go for like 45 minutes because I went upstairs, I decided to do my hair, and I was coming down and expecting it to be fully developed pearls and it to be wonderful, and I came down to this. So needless to say, I was a little disappointed, but I decided I would just kind of go with it because it still was kind of a cool background. So I decided to do kind of a spirally Dutch pour through this one, and I was able to use so that Rust-Oleum metallics, it doesn't have a tendency to pearl, so I like to put that in the Dutch pour portion of my pearl pours, because it kind of keeps the pearls from completely taking over the Dutch pour. So I like that Rust-Oleum in there. I did try and use the Rust-Oleum metallics as a pour over, thinking that it would work just fine, because the Rust-Oleum metallics and the Modern Masters metallics are actually from the same company. So Modern Masters is made by Rust-Oleum. So I thought, well, you know, they might have the same properties, might be interchangeable. That is definitely not true. The Rust-Oleum did not work as a pour over color. So here I'm just kind of fiddling with this Dutch pour portion, kind of widening it in areas. And I kind of fiddle with this one for a little while, because I wanted to, you know, make it look, I don't know, not quite so skinny and uniform-ish, like a line. So I kind of spread it out. I used my mouth, I used my hairdryer, and then I also took that center part of the spiral and I use my mouth to kind of make it more of a point there. And then I also will use my finger to kind of straighten out that point, kind of bring it to more of a point here. So yeah, and then as you know, these pores develop, you see all the lacing that's developing. The satin enamel will start breaking through. You will see a couple of the pearl cells popping through that spiral part. And this is the way that I kind of like the orientation to be. I like the spiral going towards the top. I don't know. It could be a lot of different ways, but that's kind of the orientation that I liked best. So yeah, and I'm also sorry about the light. I always forget to turn that light off above so that I don't get that reflection. So here you see these tiny pearls popping up, not really much of anything, but the Dutch pour portion turned out really pretty. I love all the lacing that happened, and that is due to those the TLPs. They will pop to the top, and they really make such pretty cells. So I love that TLP Athena that I added in there. It's so pretty. And the iridescent, or no, the TLP ball gown is peeking through also, which I really think that's pretty. So here's the dry results, guys. I really think it turned out kind of cool. You see those little pearls again. Didn't really do much developing after I did the blowout. But sometimes I like to wait on the blowouts also, because it has a tendency to be eaten less by the satin enamel if you wait just a little while. So I actually really liked how this part turned out. I love the gradients there of that TLP Athena and with the PBO iridescent violet blue. So that's it, guys. This is just a trailer for the Fluid Art Experience. I will be teaching there April 27th through the 29th in Seattle, Washington. And Britt Clayton will also be there from this this collab, as well as Garrick Brown, along with all these other wonderful artists. So if you're interested, go check out the website, fluidartexperience.com. You can get tickets. There's hotel information, lunch information, all sorts of stuff. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Head over to Britt Clayton Design, and she is next in the collab. So you guys have a great day, and I'll talk soon. Bye.